Hi, welcome back to Sahara TV. My name is Rodolfo Okonkwo. We've been having a very interesting discussion on the face-off between Buhari, the former head of state, and the presidency. And now we have from the opposition party, the Action Congress of Nigeria, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. He is the National Publicity Secretary of the party. Alhaji Mohammed, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you.
Let me start. I don't know if you watched our previous interview with Chief Olisa Metu, who is the Publicity Secretary of the PDP. But he said in the interview that Jonathan is the most attacked president in history. Why are you attacking President Jonathan?
I don't think it's correct to say that President Jonathan is the most attacked president in the history of Nigeria. But, and I don't think we do attack Mr. President, but we do criticize his policies, especially when those such policies, don't, elevate the level of discussion or the well-being of Nigerians. So it's not personal; it's about the policy of government.
Now, in the latest face-off with Buhari, your party came out in support of Buhari. How did that come about? How did you get to that conclusion that Buhari is the man to support?
No, we didn't support Buhari, but we supported the principle that if elections are rigged, there will be consequences.
Alhaji, can you please move your camera here a little bit? Yeah, good. Okay, continue. Thank you.
We did not actually support General Buhari as a person, but we did support what he said, that if elections are rigged, there will be consequences. Anywhere in the world where elections are rigged, there are always consequences. And you see, it's important to know that Buhari did not say, if I, Buhari, do not win in 2015, there will be bloodshed. No, he said no. If elections are not free and fair, if elections are rigged in 2015, there will be consequences.
Was the 2011 election rigged?
Absolutely. You see, you remember on the 21st of April, we came out with a press release just before the governorship election that the 2011 elections were the most systematically rigged in the history of this country. And we also made the point that no election was fought on the lines of religion and ethnicity like the 2011 presidential election. It is a pity that some international observer concluded that because there was absence of violence meant that the elections were free and fair. No. Those of us who are operating on the field, we knew that the 2011 elections were very far from being free and fair.
In your press release, you called Buhari's statement a warning against those planning to rig the 2015 election. Who are those planning to rig the election?
You see, from the response of the PDP, it's clear that they are planning to rig not just the 2015 election. They are planning to rig the coming election in Ondo State. They are planning to rig the coming election in Edo State. I mean, it's quite instructive what is happening in Edo State now. An INEC official was arrested programming the direct capture camera in a manner to favor the PDP. You see, PDP has never really been capable of organizing a free and fair election, and that is why they were rattled by the statement of the CPC presidential candidate General Buhari that if 2015 elections are rigged, there will be bloodshed.
Now, PDP called Buhari a sectional leader. What do you think? Is it true? Is it wrong to describe him that way?
I think it's quite. You see, you cannot describe a person like Buhari as a sectional leader. Apart from being a former head of state, I think Buhari's philosophy, whatever Buhari stands for, resonates among all Nigerians. And you see, the fact that a person comes from a particular region does not necessarily make him, a sectional leader. It is his vision that will determine whether it's a pan-Nigerian politician or a sectional, leader.
Now, Buhari on his own called the Jonathan administration the greatest Boko Haram there is. Do you buy that characterization of the presidency of Jonathan?
Well, I think of course, I've been able to taking the trouble to read the various, and study the utterances between General Buhari on the one hand, the General Buhari and CPC on the one hand, and the presidency on the other hand. I think what General Buhari actually meant about, the president being a Boko Haram is that the lack of capacity of the president and the lack of vision of this particular administration is probably responsible for the inability to contain the Boko Haram insurgency. But on a more serious note is that there's a lot of anxiety among many Nigerians that indeed there might be some fifth columnists within government who are not happy to see a quick resolution of the Boko Haram insurgency because some of them might be benefiting from the insurgency itself.
Now, during the last election, there was a kind of alliance between the SCN and the CPC. Where is it now? What happened? Was it a mistake? Was it good? Did it help the party?
The alliance actually never materialized, and that is actually why the country is in this sorry pass. Attempts were made for an alliance between us and the CPC, but unfortunately, I think matters were left too late, and it's not the time to apportion blame. But unfortunately, we believe that if CPC had been more flexible, probably it will be a completely different story today. But I can assure you that both parties have now realized the faults, and we are determined now to start very early mega talks between the CPC and the ACN.
Should Buhari run again, is there any chance that the SCN will support him?
Now, I think where we are now, it's not about a particular candidate. Where we are right now, it's about a cooperation between the ACN, the CPC, and any other political party or group that are currently dissatisfied with the state of the polity. I think that's the bridge we need to cross before we start thinking about the candidate to fly the flag of the alliance. And if we start with the candidate, it will become a bit divisive.
Now, can you explain to a lot of Nigerians, they're baffled by what happened in 2011, where SCN and CPC had an alliance, but the people, the voters, mainly in the southwest, voted for PDP. How did that happen? Was there any plan by the party to put up a face as if there is an alliance with SCN and yet tell their voters to vote for PDP, or was that a revolt against the party?
In the first instance, there was never an alliance between CPC and ACN, as I tried to explain. Now, as to what happened in the southwest, especially in the southwest during the presidential election, don't forget that I tried to explain that at no time was any election conducted along ethnic and religious lines like the presidential election of 2011. You must not forget that there are three major constituencies for any politician. The first is ethnicity, the second is religion, and the third is the platform. Now, if you look at the 2011 presidential election in the southwest, there was no Yoruba, candidates running for presidency. So they had no. There was no Yoruba candidate running in the southwest for presidency. The ethnicity factor was in favor of President Jonathan. And then when you look at southwest, especially Lagos, you have a lot of south southeast, middle belt, and given the absence of a Yoruba man running for presidency, of course, it was easy for President Jonathan to attract a lot of votes. Secondly, the issue of religion, and there are quite a substantial number of Christians in the southwest, especially in Lagos State, who are especially people from the other geopolitical zones. So it's contrary to the misinformation being peddled by the PDP. There was absolutely no agreement between ACN and PDP to help Jonathan in the 2011 presidential election.
So if for instance, when we get to 2015 and we have the same matchup between Buhari and Jonathan, do you think that people in the southwest will again vote for Jonathan?
If you see, once again, I would rather not personalize and zero on any particular candidate. But I must say this, that if elections are conducted today between Buhari and Jonathan, I won't be surprised if many of those who voted for Buhari, I won't be surprised if many of those who voted for Jonathan, not just in the southwest, even the north central and the northwest, in the northeast, will probably today vote for Buhari because of the lack of capacity and the very low performance of this government.
Now, in the media, we read a lot about PDP plots to destabilize the southwest. Can you tell us what are these plots and where are they coming from?
Well, they are coming from the PDP southwest. You see, between 2007 and 2010, PDP loomed very large in the southwest, and except, as a matter of fact, until Mimiko's victory in the courts in 2008. Apart from Lagos State, the entire southwest was dominated by the PDP. But today, the reverse is the case. The PDP has lost completely its foothold in the southwest. That even PDP, even Ondo State, which is not in the ACM fold, is not even in PDP. Now, I think the PDP must have gone to really, complain to Mr. President that the only way we can get a foothold in the southwest come 2015 is if the southwest can be destabilized. And you can see every attempt by the PDP, from misinformation to disinformation to deliberate falsehood, trying to create a state of insecurity in the southwest, starting with Osun, Oyo, and even Ogun State. The whole idea is to create a state of security that will now necessitate probably declaration of state of emergency, and in which the president will now probably nominate one of their own stooges to administer the affairs of the state. But I think we have told Mr. President loud and clear that the southwest people will not accept that kind of shenanigan.
Now, looking at Edo State, what is going on there? Can you explain to us what is going on to your candidate for governor?
Where?
In Edo State.
What's happening to our candidate in Edo State?
Edo State, yeah. Is he under attack by the PDP? What is the structure of what's going on there?
Well, you see, anybody who has been watching what's going on, Edo State in the last couple of months, will come to the conclusion that PDP, having realized that in a free and fair election, will not win even 20% of the votes, have now resorted to all kinds of underhand tactics, intimidation, assassination, and chaos, and precipitating chaos. Anybody who goes to Edo State today will see the difference between a performing government and a non-performing government. For almost 9 years, Edo State was in the group of PDP, and they are ready to show for it. In less than 4 years, Adams Oshiomhole has been directing the affairs of the state, and he has recorded such success in virtually every sector of the polity that it has become impossible for anybody in a free and fair election to dislodge him. And so what they want to do today is rig the election, but we want to warn again that if they do attempt it at all, they might not know the end. They might not see the end of it.
Another of your governor, the governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Fashola, recently sacked over 700 doctors of the state. What does that do for the image of the party as a progressive party when the public opinion is against the governor for doing that?
I don't think it's clear that public opinion is against the governor, on that issue. Because when you understand the issues at stake, you realize that it's just a matter of, the government insisting that everybody must behave responsibly. Now, because we are doctors, does not give you the right to go on strike without following the process. Now, what happened was that the doctors gave the Lagos State government 24 hours notice to embark on an industrial action, and the government said no. The law allows you to declare a dispute. It also allows you to go on industrial action, but you must give us 15 days notice. Now, the doctors now came back to argue that actually it's not a fresh dispute. They are resuming from last year's dispute. But the truth of the matter is that the previous year there were 4 issues, in dispute. The first was that the doctors wanted to be paid the newcomers. The second was that they wanted one of their former leaders, Dr. Laifa, to be reinstated. The third was that they wanted the Lagos State government to reinstate their union dues. And lastly, that the Lagos State government should look at the high incidence of taxation. Now, between then and now, Lagos State government had met with all their conditions, and they have resolved all the issues at stake. In the first instance, Dr. Laifa was recalled, and then after which he voluntarily retired. Commerce is being paid to doctors. In fact, what Lagos State government is paying is much more than commerce. Thirdly, on the issue of their union dues, it has been reinstated. On the issue of the island of taxation, the government explained to them that legislation on taxation is a federal responsibility, not a state responsibility. So, as of the time they went on strike, there were no fresh issues. So they cannot claim that they were actually resuming from the last year's strike. And even today, even with this new fresh strike, what are the issues at stake? They are asking that they should pay certain allowances. And Lagos State government is not even adverse to discussing this issue with them. But you must give us the proper notice.
So I take it that the party is in support of the action of the governor.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, let me ask you. Your candidate for president in the last election, Nuhu Ribadu, where is he now? Is he still in your party?
Yes, he has not resigned from our party, no. But you see, we made it clear that anybody who takes appointment with this government from our party does so in his personal capacity, and the party reserves the right to deal as it might deem fit with such a candidate.
Okay. Now let me ask you, because you've been exchanging words with Dr. Reuben Abati, who is the spokesman of the presidency. What do you think about how he's doing his job?
I would rather leave that to the general public to decide.
But you don't shy away from challenging him when he makes a statement.
No. You see, I will challenge him when I will challenge him or anybody if I believe that he's not representing issues properly. But it's not, like I always say, it's not personal at all.
Now, your political party should be one of the major opposition parties in Nigeria. Why is it not capable of influencing things in the National Assembly? What's the problem?
Because of the 109 senators, we have less than 20. Of the 360 members of rep, we have about 70. You can see that it will be a very accurate task on our part to really influence what happens in the National Assembly.
So you mean, is it that you have this kind of relationship with CPC? You can't team up to influence things, or is the structure rigged in such a way that the two major opposition parties cannot do anything in the National Assembly?
I think given the composition of the National Assembly today, and given the mindset of the PDP, where issues are not considered on its merit, but rather on whether it's coming from ACN or from PDP, it will be quite difficult for this present National Assembly to achieve anything tangible.
So are you optimistic that the hope for Nigerians come 2015 that things will somehow be better, that we could possibly have a better election?
Well, I think if we can achieve two things before 2015, the first is a thorough electoral reform. I'm talking about a root and branch reform of our electoral system that will really guarantee a level playing ground for everybody, and the opposition parties can come together to be easy to destroy the PDP. So
what is preventing coming together? We are now in 2012 and we don't see any sign of movement in that direction.
No, there's a lot of signs. There are a lot of signs, and there's movement in that direction, I can assure you.
All right. Thank you, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, for coming to SaharaTV.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you very much.
All right. We've been talking to Alhaji Lai Mohammed, who is the National Publicity Secretary of the Action Congress of Nigeria.